what you'd like to see on Saturday, what would it include?
Wish list for Saturday. First and foremost, just communication, making sure that the communication is where it needs to be. Obviously, the teams are going to be split up. That's something that Coach Sweeney really believes in, splitting the teams up. So you're not going to necessarily have guys next to each other that have been next to each other all spring. So it's going to be a little bit different units, breakdown. But I want to see the communication, because if we have the communication, then you're going to have the ability to execute. So communication leads to execution, and there's competition. See guys go out and compete and show us that they can play, in front of a big crowd. We're expecting and anticipating a big crowd. Just want to see guys, especially guys that haven't been in that situation, just see how they function in that environment, and then take care of the quarterback, take care of the ball. If we can start there, I think we'll have a good day.
How much will Trevor and Travis, guys like that, play?
We really hadn't even discussed it yet. It's still early in the week. We're just trying to get better today. We had a half a scrimmage today with some situational stuff. We split it up with ones on twos, and had an opportunity to see those guys compete, and we'll evaluate it, and then we'll split the teams up. But really hadn't discussed that yet. I'm in a situation now with a couple guys banged up that all those guys are going to have to go on Saturday.
Where's the offense relative to last year right now?
It's hard to compare because it's a different unit. Obviously, working somebody in at center. Travis is Travis is performing at a high level. Taven, the backs have been pretty solid throughout the course of spring, breaking in a new tight end. So, it's a little bit different, but overall, we've had some good days. There was one day where we could have done a little bit better right before spring break. Didn't quite have the right focus that we needed to, but overall, been pleased. We've been very explosive throughout the course of scrimmages. Not quite as efficient, as we've been in the past, and that's an area we're really going to challenge these guys to make sure that we stay ahead of the chains and not just try to live on the explosive play, whereas last year we were just trying to come in and figure out how can we generate the explosive play, because we were very efficient in 2017. So, it's a little different group. Their chemistry is starting to come together, but we're still a long way from where we need to be.
How far has Lynn J come in his learning of the offense and pass protection and also the weight that he's put on?
He looks good. They've done a great job in the weight room. Still not in terms of pounds. It really hasn't started to come on yet, but you see his body starting to fill out, and he's running a lot more violent, more powerful. He's starting to understand the technique and the pass protection, and now I would say he's more self-sufficient, whereas in the past you could see those guys are always looking at the quarterback. What do you tell me what to do? But now he's able to read the signals and know what he's supposed to do, and now he's starting to understand how to identify defensive front so he can get to his protection responsibilities at the second level. So just overall, he's really progressing. Has to make sure he does a better job with ball security, just because he's an electric guy. He likes the big play. He likes to swing that ball, so I'm trying to get his attention to be a little bit more secure with the ball. Hasn't had an issue of putting it on the ground, but it's just a matter of time if you don't properly carry it.
You spoke competition. Has there been anybody stood out in competition between your position groups on the offensive side of the ball so far in spring?
Pollard really transitioning to center has been a pleasant surprise. Being able to interchange him and engage Cervenka. Jackson has done a really good job. A guy stepping in for somebody like Mitch Hyatt, and didn't know how that was going to go at first. Obviously, he played a little bit, and I've been challenging him to make sure that he's at the proper weight. But he's done a really, really good job. So he's competing well. I tell you, Blake Vincent has really kind of turned the corner from where he was last year. So that's a lot of competition there at left tackle. Jordan McFadden has been a guy here that's been competing well the last couple of weeks. Has really started to make a move over there to give us some added depth on the right side, specifically at right tackle. Taven has competed from day one. He came in with a different mindset, a different look in his eye. Obviously, he knows this is his last go round, but I think more importantly, he saw how Choice owned his role, became a leader, even though he might not have been the starter. And I think he understands that we need that in our position room. And so he's really upped his level of competition here throughout the spring. Trying to think at wideout. Just DeAndre Overton, is a guy that's been a real pleasant surprise, being able to compete, and then obviously being able to versatile, being able to go to multiple positions throughout the receiver corps has been really good. DK was competing until he got moved to the other side of the ball, and obviously that's a natural fit for him. He's been doing some good things over there on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just trying to think at the tight end position. Obviously Galloway and Chalk, I tell you, Chalk and Galloway are competing. Obviously they're a little bit different in their skill sets, but being able to function in the area where they may not be the strongest, so to speak, like Galloway becoming a better run blocker, whereas Chalk becoming a better pass receiver. So seeing a lot of competition there, and I'm just trying to think. Those are probably the ones that really stood out.
Has Sean done enough to show you he can start at center if you need him?
You know, if we needed him to, I think so. And again, like I said, that's a great luxury when you got him engaged that can snap. And I tell you, Cade Stewart has done a really good job of understanding. Still got to work on the snaps a little bit. Sometimes he fires that thing back there about 100 miles an hour, and the quarterback's only at about 5 yards. But otherwise, he's been competing well at center. So that gives us a lot of confidence knowing that we got 3 guys that can snap. But not only can they snap, they're interchangeable and they can go to guard as well.
Do you go to battle with Coach Venables with DK? You guys?
Yeah, it's like every day we're like, okay, are we going to get him back? Are we going to get him back? But ultimately, man, this is a team game. And if Coach Sweeney and Coach Venables believe that's what's best for the team, then obviously, we'll find a way to make it work.
Sorry. This is a much different situation than what we saw with Ray. Obviously, he played a corner late in the season out of necessity, but would you say more likely that we'll see that from DK next season?
I don't know. Obviously, we're just trying to get through the spring, and then we'll get into our meetings this off season, and then we'll get into fall camp. And obviously, it's a situation where he's a dual threat guy. He can do well at both positions, and more importantly, is we just got to figure out what position he helps us the most at. And obviously, we won't know that until we get to the fall.
Where's Trevor improved since January?
Trevor has improved just with I think he's already a poised guy, but you can see now where his level of knowledge has gone to the point to where, he can pinpoint exactly what happened. Whereas before he would kind of say, okay, I think this, but now it's like before we come off, he's like, yeah, I should have done this, I should have done that. And so you're seeing him really take command, of the offense. I think his movement in the pocket, being able to extend plays, and just his feet in the pocket, using his fundamentals to be able to get the ball out has been really good. I think leadership-wise, we're starting to see him be a little bit more vocal. Whereas last year, obviously, he was just trying to lead by example through his play. But now he has the confidence to be able to speak up and command. And again, you got 4 offensive linemen, senior offensive linemen up there, and that's where the bulk of our leadership is going to come from. But even though he's just a sophomore, we're challenging him, and we're seeing him respond there.
How about Justin Ross? Have you seen an improvement from him over last year? And can it be, I think everybody kind of talks about how hard the transition can be for receivers. It didn't seem very hard for him. Did we maybe miss some of the things that he needed to work on?
The biggest thing for those guys, man, when they're that athletic, they can get away with some things athletically. But as you continue to progress, technically you got to improve. And what you're starting to see is technically he's really starting to own the position. Whereas before he was a little bit inconsistent from an assignment standpoint. He'd make a wild play and then he might not be where he's supposed to be. So you see he's a lot more comfortable and he's becoming more versatile. So we can put him in different positions, which really gives us a lot of flexibility and will make us hard to handle when you can have him and T on the field at the same time.
I doubt that you at any point were concerned overly about this, certainly with those 2 guys. But like Dabo talked last week about, there's going to be a ton of attention on them. There already is, but now they're sort of the cover boys for Clemson football coming off a national championship. Are you pleased to see how much they've continued to want to build upon what they had last year instead of sort of resting on their laurels after that?
Oh, no doubt. And they got a competition going between them, and it's a healthy competition. I mean, they both, I believe, understand how good they can be. They're not there yet. They understand that as well, that they haven't arrived, and they're pushing each other. So every single day they're coming out and wanting to make plays. But at the same time, they're rooting on their buddy when he does make a play. And with that's going to give us more flexibility, because if they're the best 2, then they need to be on the field. So I think as those guys progress, then it allows us to be able to get the best guys into spots that they can function on the field, which makes us hard to defend. And then what that's going to do is that's going to help your tight end position. That's going to help your 3rd receiver on the field. It's going to help the running game. So if those guys can continue to have that healthy competition, continue to develop, continue to push each other, it allows us to be more harder to defend.
I know you said Overton was repping at multiple positions at wide receiver. Is he kind of the clear-cut guy to step in now that Amari's out and DK's on the other side?
I wouldn't say clear-cut, but I tell you what, I've been impressed. And that's a little bit different when you talk about the 3 receiver positions. The one that's a little bit unique is that slot position, because you ask that guy to do, a few different things. It's usually your quicker twitch guy, your smaller guy, creating matchups. But I tell you what, he jumped in there day one. I'm proud of him. He sees an opportunity, but I wouldn't say it's clear-cut. We'll have to go through the competition and between him, Cornell, and TJ, and see who becomes the guy. But I tell you what, for a bigger guy, which you may not think would be the easy transition, he's made it seamlessly so far, and been proud of him. And I think, him being a senior, and he understands, the importance of leadership, the importance of versatility. He wants to play at the next level, so this has been a good opportunity for him.
How about Powell? How's he done since injury?
Powell's been pretty good. Powell's a guy that obviously was coming off a situation last year and missed a lot of reps, but I mean, he jumped right in there, and they've all had opportunities to make plays. I think that they all could be a little bit more consistent, at times, but they're still learning, and we've had them at different positions, and then Jeff does a great job of rotating those guys and challenging them on a daily basis, to operate in different situations at different positions, but they all been doing a good job, and they've got some big shoes to fill. That was Hunter Renfro's position, and obviously, he kind of made the trademark for what that guy's supposed to be in a Clemson offense. But I anticipate that when it's all said and done, by the time we get to the first game, we're going to have a guy in there or a combination of guys that's going to be able to fill that void.
You have some freshmen at wide receiver and on the offensive line. Have any of them caught your eye?
The two young receivers, I mean, golly, they're special talents. But more importantly, they're unbelievable young men. They're the kind of guys that you love to coach, because they just come in and they understand how talented they are, and they've had some success, and they've kind of hit that wall where, okay, I can't just get by on my talent because I kind of shot people, snuck up on people, and now, they're having to learn the position, but they just compete. They don't say anything. They're about the right things. They do the little things right. They run after the catch like it's a game. They run on and off the field. They're very, very coachable. So those two guys right there are going to be special in the future. And now they just have to get into the summer, build their bodies for the long haul, take advantage of the skills and drills that we do in the summer, and really, really internalize in the system so that they're ready to go once we get into fall camp. But the sky's the limit on those two. Freshman-wise, on the offensive line, I thought Rayburn got off to a good start, and then once the installation started to pile up, then you could see that he was functioning, he was swimming, but he was doggy paddling. He was just trying to tread water, especially at the center position, because you have to make so many declarations and identifications. That's tough on a freshman. And then you look at Putnam, he's just a bull in a China shop, man. He was all over the place. Love his physicality, but again, as the installation piled up, and you're going against Venables' defense where they're never sitting still, they're always moving around. You got something new every single day. It started to wear on him, but definitely pleased. And then Caleb's been doing a good job. Obviously, probably the furthest to go of the three. But again, that's a hard position to transition, especially on our practice field when things are moving that fast.
How excited are you about seeing how Tyson performs on Saturday?
I'm excited. He's a guy that it's tough because the standard that he's measured by, is a little bit unrealistic. You talk about guys that have come in here in the spring of their freshman year, and Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, and obviously, he's a guy that's come in with a good background. But at the same time, too, probably not the same preparation that Deshaun and Trevor had coming out of high school. But I've been pleased with just his command of the offense. Just the little things we always talk about. You heard me say it: handling motions, handling the snap count. Making things right, understanding what everybody's doing. He sees that big picture. Better than I anticipated. Now the biggest thing is when the bullets start flying. Can you process all of that as quick as you need to process it? And that's where he's growing every single day. So I'm excited to see him in a situation where the coaches aren't on the field. He's out there by himself. He's responsible for command and everything, and I think he'll rise to the occasion.
Where's Jalen Lay at right now?
Jalen Lay is coming every single day. I think from just when you look at him and you have so much expectation, like, God, this guy is a freak-looking guy. But then when you get out here, you realize he plays probably the most difficult position on our offense, is that tight end position, because they're the formation adjuster. They have to know all the pass combinations. They have to know all the blocking schemes. They got to know protections. They got to know everything about our offense, and they basically have to process it like that. And they don't get a whole lot of help because everything is from the signal. They're not around the quarterback hearing communication. They do everything off of the signal. So I think early on, that started to slow him down a little bit, so you didn't quite get to see his athleticism. But over the last couple of days, you've seen him really start to be more comfortable, and so now he's playing faster. He's catching the ball better. He's making plays down the field, and then you see he knows where he's going in the run game. But he needs to be in the weight room because obviously it's a different level of physicality when you're transitioning to the college level at that position. But I think as each day goes by, he's going to become more and more confident, and you're really going to start to see what we all saw in recruiting, just a big jumbo athlete that can do a lot of things.
What's it going to take for Travis to be better in 2019?
What is it going to take? All right, how long you got?
All the time in the world.
Travis, really, for Travis is making the decision that he wants to be, one of the best to ever come through here. I think there's no question he has the talent, and I think just the way he runs the football, but he's got to become a complete player. And really the biggest thing for Travis is to embrace and accept his leadership role. He's such a low-maintenance guy. He's a low-key guy. Y'all know he doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like the attention, and sometimes that causes him to shy away from his leadership opportunities. And I'm telling him every day, and man, that's the gift and the curse. You prayed for this. You asked for this. You asked for the success that you're having, and now you have to take the unintended consequences that come with it. And so now your teammates are looking to you as a leader. They want to hear your voice. They know you're going to make a play, but man, they want to hear your encouragement. They want to hear your voice. I think when his mind transitions to where he really embraces his role as a leader, then I think his game's going to go to an even bigger level. I mean, he's going to be more consistent. He's going to play with maximum effort. Not that he doesn't play hard, but man, he's going to give it 110%. Whereas right now, he's okay. I'll give it 100%, but I want you to give it 110% because you have the talent and the ability. If you'll do that, you can do something that's special. And there's only a few guys, right, in the course of your career that you coach that have that kind of talent. That if they just go right above 100% and try and push for 110, man, they can be exceptional.
Who is that voice right now in the running back room?
In the running back room, the voice is Taven. Taven is the voice right now, and I'm starting to hear Travis's voice emerge. But in that meeting room, Taven is the alpha dog, I would say. And again, it's a healthy room. So some days Travis will speak up a little bit, but really Taven is the guy. Once he saw that choice moved on, he said, you know what, this is my room. I want to set the standard. And so far he's been doing a really, really good job.
Not that I don't think you probably do try to do some level of this for every player. It seems like with Travis, it's almost personal for you to make sure that he develops everything that he can possibly be because he is that unique, special talent.
For all of my guys, that's why I got into coaching. I didn't get into coaching for the accolades and the notoriety and everything that comes with it superficially. I got into the profession because football was that for me. It taught me how to be the best version of myself, and that's what I want to do with my players. I want them to be the best version of themselves because the reality is, if Travis learns how to do that at this level, if Taven learns how to do that at this level, then guess what? He's going to maximize his opportunity to the next level. More importantly, man, he's going to be the best father he can be. He's going to be the best husband he can be. And really, in our society, with the platform that these guys have, man, they can really impact change if they're just the best version of themselves, And because ultimately, when you're the best version of yourself, man, you're dying to share that with somebody. You don't want anything in return. You just want to pass that forward to somebody else. And so with all my guys, and that's a core value in our program. That's who Coach Sweeney is. That's how he coached me. Even though I wasn't nowhere near the most talented guy in the receiver room, he challenged me to be the best version of myself, which resulted in me being able to earn the respect of my teammates and be a team captain, which doesn't likely happen from a walk-on kid that's, maybe the fourth guy on the depth chart at receiver. So really, that's just what all my guys, just challenging them to be the best version of themselves, because that's my responsibility as a coach. When it's all said and done, no one's going to care about the record that Jeff and myself have as co-coordinators. Nobody's going to care about the national championships. Really, I'm going to be judged by how did I impact this young man's life for the 3 to 5 years that I have him. His family's counting on me. Back there in Jennings, Louisiana, he's the pride of that town, and they're counting on me to make sure when he comes back there that he's not just Travis Etienne that can run a football. He's Travis Etienne that can come back and really, really change the community because he's trying to be the best version of himself.
Has he recovered from his 8-pound trip to Popeyes in Louisiana?
I think so. He's had. Actually, it's been a challenging day. We had a couple guys, down the line guys, banged up. Which hurts our depth, especially when we're doing most of our live work down the stretch. And so those guys have had to carry it. That's what I'm most proud of, man. It's been a situation. Typically, guys that are proven, guys that have been through it, guys that have had success, when they're asked late in spring practice, when a couple of guys go down and they got to take more reps, do they bitch about it or do they say, you know what, hey, jump in there? And today was a situation, man. Travis ran out there and it was the pride group, which is a lot of our down the line guys that don't get many reps, and he jumped in because our numbers were down a little bit. We had a couple guys that were getting nursed up to be able to get back in practice.
DeAndre is in yellow today, but you are expecting him to play on Saturday?
I anticipate. I don't know the extent. It was a situation where obviously from over the weekend happened in the last practice, and I anticipate it, and I'm hoping that he's going to be back, especially for him, just because of the way he's had. The spring that he's had, I want to see him finish on a high note.
Coach, will you be up in the press box or down on the sideline?
Haven't decided yet. We're going to learn our fate. We're all going to learn our fate over the next couple of days. This is kind of a stressful time for all of us coaches because, man, it's awesome how Coach Sweeney does it. He breaks everything down. He splits everything: the team, the staff, the support staff, everybody's going to be on the team, and we don't know. I might be the head coach, I might be coordinating. I don't know. You just don't know what your role is going to be. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. But in the past, I've stayed down on the sideline just because of the way the staffs are split. We don't have the resources to put somebody up in the box and still manage everything else that's going on the sideline. So typically I'm down on the sideline regardless of what team I'm on and what my responsibility is.
How difficult is that for you being used to being in the box?
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different just because you don't have the vantage point to be able to see everything. And again, the staffs broke up, so you don't have the consistent communication that you get throughout the course of the game. So I'm relying on my eyes to be able to see it, and that's a little bit different. But out here in the course of practice and the scrimmages, I've been down on the sideline, so it's going to be a lot of fun.